my crypto punk hat right up here, down to my artifact shoes. I got into the metaverse very early in the game, so a little bit about myself, as you can see, try to stay anonymous. I was a teacher for about 21 years, and keeping that anonymity, I was able to get my crypto punk into an AR filter. And that AR filter, I'm able to broadcast, bring up friends in the space to show off that NFT space. That's what we're going to do today, is talk about that metaverse. So to help me out today, we have some friends that I'm going to call up on stage here so we can get this metaverse chat going. Now, the space goes really, really fast. And instead of doing a round of applause, because sometimes it just takes too much time, we're just going to do one clap, all right? So if you guys can help me out right here in the crowd, I know we're texting and trying to get people settled, with just one clap. We're going to start with me, all right? So I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. Let's teach you guys to give me one simple clap right now. Coming to the stage from FTLA Crypto Novo. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. I love it. Coming up next, we have Eric Schwertzel from NFT 3D. Let's give him one clap, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Let's make it a little bit louder for Finn Stabler from Chicken Waffle. Finn, come on up, man. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Next up, all the way from the UK, Edward Mason. Edward, come on up, my friend. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And finally, from Virtual Worlds, Elliott, Mizroch. Come on up, Elliott. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, my friends, we all have our stages of space. And within this metaverse space, I want to start off from left to right. Have these aliens, apes, and zombies on stage. Tell us a little bit about yourself. A little bit about yourself. What brings you up on the panel today?
My name is Elliott Mizroch. I'm the CEO of Virtual Worlds. I've been in the virtual and augmented reality space since 2014. We've done everything, in that time, from car commercials to military simulations. But what my company, Virtual Worlds, focuses on is hyper-realistic captures of real-world locations, and then bringing those into a game engine or the metaverse for use in things like virtual reality experiences, virtual concerts, virtual production for television and film, and gaming. So I'm probably the least qualified person on the panel as far as concert experience. However, I hope to, become the venue one day for using a place like Machu Picchu or the pyramids to host virtual rave or concert.
And that's what it's about. It's that virtual experience that we're going to be talking about here today. And that's what I love about this place. Because we're able to take something that, might be Web 2.S and bring it into that Web 3.0 world. Let's go right over to our next speaker right here. A little bit about yourself.
Sure. Hey, everybody. First of all, congratulations. It's 9:30 in the morning. And I know you guys should all get a reward for showing up this early in the morning. Rumor has it some people were partying until 3 a.m. last night. So if you were able to do both, congratulations. Eric Schwertzel over here. My background is fairly diverse. Came from a gaming background, traditional gaming background. Worked for Betty Games, so I helped digital distribution on World of Warcraft, which was, we were pulling in about $100 million a month. So it was $1.2 billion property. Then from there, I went over to MTV, did a lot of customer acquisition, primarily on the digital side. Then from there, I went to MasterCard, which was a financial institution, but focused on priceless, which is like a campaign that everybody I'm sure is familiar with. Then most recently, I was over at Elliott Digital, focusing primarily on mixed reality, digital reality, and augmented reality, all around enterprise clients. And then when COVID hit, I was like, wait a minute. Everybody's going to be indoors. We need to be doing these things inside, and we need to be doing virtual concerts. So since that time, we've done about 15 different concerts all around the world. Largest one had 600,000 people in it, but most of our shows have about 50,000 people in it, where people pay about $20. Again, Eric Schwertzel, and looking forward to this panel.
Thank you, Eric. We're going to go over to the partner to your left right there. Finn, tell us a little bit about yourself, Chicken Waffle.
Hey, Finn Stabler, CEO of ChickenWaffle. We're a video game development studio in Austin, Texas. We do a lot of virtual reality and augmented reality content development. Both of our our own personal IP, as well as a lot of work for hire for some of the biggest companies in the world, done things with Disney and Red Bull, and won all kinds of awards for our partners, and made a lot of funny, zany, creative stuff of our own as video games. And then I'm also the co-founder of Wave XR, which is a virtual reality music platform, and Failed Render, which is a virtual reality comedy club, and just have done a lot of really big virtual experiences and social engagements. We're the metaverse partner for this event. There's actually a virtual experience, virtual conference, and speaker sessions being held inside of virtual reality this week for NFLA, and after parties and stuff in our virtual reality nightclubs and stuff like that. So we built a lot of content in virtual venues and conference centers and podcast studios and all kinds of things. So a big focus of the social engagement, but bringing the game design UX flow into the creation process of these social engagements, so that you can really brands and partners can really tell a message, get a message across to the attendees and stuff like that. And I think that's only going to increasingly become more prevalent as the utility of smart glasses and wearable tech continues to increase.
I think that's a perfect transition over to our last speaker here, all the way from the UK, who has been in the kind of experimental technology prototype stuff in the VR space. So, why don't you take the mic and talk a little bit about yourself, Edward?
Thank you. My name is Ed Mason. I've been in the XR space since about 2013. My company developed the first self-contained virtual reality headsets. We partnered with NVIDIA. We're building a new category of computing company. We'll build a dedicated XR machine for our Web3 game console. And yeah, just excited about the space in general. We've been building Metaverse as well with the former Android team from Sony Slash, the studio, the team that built PlayStation Home. And yeah, we're demonstrating technology all over the show floor, so we'll see you there.
And let's talk a little bit about that. I guess that's the first question. Is I'm going to ask the speakers up here what their definition of the metaverse is, because some people just view it as digital real estate. And the metaverse is a little bit more than that. It's the experience. You saw each one of the speakers up here talk about the experiences that they've had in, the Web 2.0 applications with either major brands, or trying to bring what they have learned in the past and bring it up into the future, up to the current state. So with that is the definition of what you view as the metaverse. For myself, I'm trying to pull myself into the metaverse, into in real life events, because things evolve, things change. Very similar to some of the panelists says, when COVID hit, you had to adapt. So you're hopping on computers, you're networking with people, you're talking with people, seeing what's going on. Now, I don't make too many things, I make friends, and from that, I get to learn. Very similar to the friends up here on stage. So, any one of the speakers up here want to talk maybe your definition of how you view the metaverse?
I'm happy to jump in with that. So I see this Web3 world as a transition from a two-dimensional internet to a three-dimensional internet. And currently you see these metaverses and effectively social media platforms. So in the fewest words possible, I'd say really these are pretty new walled gardens for the social media platforms until we get to the point of interoperability, at which point we'll get a proper 3D internet.
Yeah, I would add that it doesn't exist. Metaverse doesn't exist in the definition of the term that Neil Stevenson created and used it as such. It's that notion of an interoperable utility that allows you to jump across, and that notion of Web3, where you're already seeing early instances of signing in with your MetaMask, signing in with your Google across a bunch of different platforms. This utility-based interoperable feature, and then the 3D-ifying too, and the immersifying of the internet. Where you roll back the clock to the 90s. I remember telling my dad and some of his clients, "Oh, everybody's going to have a website at some point," and they were scoffed at me as a kid. Why would everybody have a website? Why would your dad's company have a website? Why? I was like, not just every company, but every person will have your own individual profile page. And like some 8-year-old telling them this, and they scoffed at it. No, that's not going to make sense. I would go so far as to say that everything is going to have digital double. Every location, every tangible object, every product will have essentially a digital double and a this interoperable utility by which you can serve these things up. And so where we're existing right now, is not much different than where we've been with Second Life and all these other, MMOs and stuff. They're essentially social multiplayer experiences, and where we need to get is really leaning into that interoperable utility that will actually create this widely used metaverse, if you will, so that you can plug in at any time and do all the different things from gaming to banking to shopping to fashion to socializing.
Finn, I'm gonna cut you off there. So I remember you and I were on a panel, I think it was just on either Spaces or on Clubhouse. You're talking about the Avatar X experience, having an avatar that you can bring into any metaverse, if it's Science Space, DCL, heck, even if it's in real life. And maybe how that plays into the fact of how we're using maybe AR, VR, and experimental technology, so you can take your NFT and bring it to multiple platforms. Do any of the speakers up here want to speak about how maybe you're using AR, VR experiences to create a multiple avatar X per se, so you're able to bring yourself into different situations and explore it and learn about it?
Sure, I can give a little bit of, so we talked about the Avatar X initiative, as I kind of talked about, which is the notion that as, like, we're already seeing platforms like Ready Player E and some other platforms, but Ready Player E definitely in first place, creating these modular, interoperable APIs for other developers to be able to utilize into the system, so that, for instance, you can log in with Ready Player E, and any of the 1,800 different experiences that are being developed will be able to bring that same avatar into that experience, and you'll be that same avatar, be able to jump into augmented reality and all these things. And so we've been doing a lot of body tracking and things like that. But the notion of Avatar X, as I said, it was the notion that we will start as developers to build to a standard, and these standards will be explored and adopted based on utility. And so the interoperable notion of utility, so that, I jumped in to see the Aoki verse tonight, and I get my consultation t-shirt from the Aoki verse. It's got a cool little logo on it. And then I'm able to take that shirt into all these other walled gardens, all these other experiences, and the less walled they are, the more interoperable they become, and allowing those accessories that mean something to people, those CryptoPunk styles, boarding faces, whatever it is, to be able to come into that. And so the notion of Avatar X means that, as I see it at least, when you're building an MMO, the art team will essentially have a bunch of different standards by which they have to create a piece of armor. For instance, it has to, that same piece of armor number 7, has to work for the big shoulder orc and the small elf and the female character, and it's armor number 7. So there's like 9 different versions of armor number 7, with moon shapes and all these different things. And there's a hierarchical naming convention, and how the offsets and the 3D space are, and how the file conventions are. And so what I think the notion of Avatar X means, and this is going to be the same when it comes to networking and friends and all these other elements of the metaverse, is that once we start building with a standard, then everybody can start building upon that standard, and everything becomes more interoperable. So, for instance, if you're a fashion designer in the 3D space, you won't just build one jacket, you'll build 15 jackets, one for Fortnite, one for Roblox, one for Ready Player E, one for Altspace, one for Mesh, one for whatever. And you'll have all these different things set up in a framework, because that'll be the standard by which you create an interoperable accessory or something that can think across.
And I think Eric's kind of doing that with his technology, where he's using, excuse me for lack of a better terminology, but almost LiDAR scanning, where you're able to scan something in a physical environment for you, the Great Pyramids, and able to bring that into, a different experience for someone to explore, either for education, for documentary purposes. Why don't you explain a little bit about, how your process has evolved when you started in this space till now?
Sure. Sorry, guys. Our process is complex, and like Finn was saying, half of our battle is optimizing for the platform and for the headset or the desktop that we're trying to deliver to. And I look forward to a world where there's standards set and things can cross boundaries. But as it stands right now, we travel to a place like the pyramids, and we take hundreds of thousands of overlapping still photographs, and we use things like reality capture and various other softwares in the pipeline to build a 3D model of the location, that is, dropped in the game engine and then can be used to output to VR or to desktop or what have you. Our issue is that those files right now are huge. We're talking to achieve the level of realism that, I like to go for at Virtual Worlds. You're talking about hundreds of millions or billions of triangles. And something like the Quest, can only process 500,000 triangles. So we can see the future right now with, passing the uncanny valley with creating these environments and artifacts and objects. Humans are nearly there with things like metahumans and volumetric video, perhaps just right around the corner from completely passing the uncanny valley. It's now, we're in this struggle to wait for the hardware to catch up, to be able to process these things in real time and at scale. And the metaverse that we all envision, where millions of people are interacting at the same time, it's just a lot of computing power. And so,
Well, we've seen it evolve. All of us have seen it evolve from where we started in the space, where now we're able to hop into maybe smaller type of experience like on Cyber, where you're able just to display your gallery. Last night I was with Justin Aversano, and almost a year ago to the date, he was on my live stream, and he's like, "Hey, I want to get my twin flames into the metaverse. How do I do it?" And I go, "You just did it. You just asked people live." The next morning, someone reached out to him and got his twin flames right in the metaverse. And that's how quick it goes in this connecting. How does this maybe work into the music venues and the music experience that you're getting thousands of people brought into the space?
Yeah, listening to the panel, I first want to kind of step back and give you guys all a sense of reality.
Wait, there's no sense of reality here? I mean, look at me.
Well, yeah, and definitely pun is intended. What I mean by that is we're not all in bed of roses, whether it's the hardware, whether it's software, or whether it's different companies that are out there. We have, like even on the game engine side, you have two competing platforms. You have Unreal and then you have Unity. You have on the hardware side, you have primarily Apple and you have primarily Google. They all use different file formats. So from a development standpoint, it's a major pain in the ass to kind of figure out like, all right, we're using FBX, OBJ, or USDZ, or what file format. And then even on like, for instance, the headsets, like virtual reality headsets, nobody's really talking about eye fatigue. How long can you actually wear these VR headsets? So we're still in this spot where everything is kind of like, we're being figured out, but we have some really, really smart people. And I think what gets me really excited is when I come to a conference like this, and I see people from so many different diverse backgrounds. And not only do I mean culturally, but also from a company standpoint. We have people in the music industry, we have people in the art industry, we have people in sports, we have athletes, we have musicians that are coming to us directly. And I think that's the part that's really exciting, because with all these different people coming all together, we're going to figure out how to make these things that are incompatible compatible. Because I think at the end of the day, we have too many walled gardens. Even like from PlayStation versus like Microsoft or what have you. These different walled gardens want to protect the money that they're making. So like for instance, like Facebook, why do you think Facebook's doing Meta? The primary reason is because they're, getting kicked in the nuts from Apple because of advertising. Facebook makes their money from advertising, and when you have all these privacy settings on your iPhone, they can't target you directly. So that's why they're building up this metaverse so that they can figure out exactly where you're touching, where you're going, all the different things in there. So, that's the part that's really exciting is, like the digital double, or like the stuff that he's doing where you can go visit the pyramids, and I'm at my house in Brooklyn. It's these experiences that ordinarily people wouldn't have the ability to, go to. So I think that was kind of like my point regarding the AR, VR, and MR and so forth. We're still in the very beginning, and the hardware and software needs a lot of help.
This might be a great transition because, Ed, you met me over at Super Chiefs 2 days ago. You actually had, I think it's in your bag over here, some new technology. You kind of build that stuff. No one's having a portable VR headset, correct? Like I saw it. It's like, it fits in your pocket. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Thank you. So, yes, it's a pretty good point. A lot of the challenges can probably agree. We've seen some tremendous advancements when it comes to the HMDs themselves. These virtual augmented reality headsets have come a long way over the past 6 years. But in my opinion, fundamentally, the main issue isn't so much the displays, it's the compute power needed to drive them. In the VR and AR space there, you have two kinds of devices. Your self-contained devices that have effectively a mobile phone chip drive headset, which are good, but you're compromising really on the quality of the experience. Because ultimately, using a chip is not meant for a mobile phone. The other end of the spectrum is using a device like an Oculus Rift, an HTC 5 or Valve Index, which is a much higher fidelity headset, which is much more comfortable, can be more than any hours at a time. But you have to tell it to a mobile device like a desktop computer or a game console. So you're compromising on mobility. So both are good, but neither are really perfect. So we, having fun with NVIDIA, started designing a new kind of computer, which was effectively a body wearable high-end machine that weighs half a kilo, that has an open operating system and it's headset agnostic. So you can take whatever headset you already have at home and plug it into a device that's small enough to work in person. So we feel this will become a catalyst for our headset manufacturers to commoditize their product, to make it smaller, cheaper, and lighter, finally get the sunglasses that everyone's looking for. Because only decoupling the copy power from the display, in my opinion, is going to be the way we get to that point.
I love it. It's just like you guys sitting in the crowd right here. Like I learned a lot, and just learning from the speakers up here, it kind of is what's driving the space. And you know that's what's really important about coming to these types of conferences, talking to like-minded individuals like this. Is where we've evolved. We're all familiar with Web 2.0, but how did your maybe Web 2.0 experiences in the past kind of build you and format you gentlemen up here on the stage for the future? Because I mean, looking at my notes here, I mean. We've had you guys worked with Ford, Kraft, Lady Gaga. We have a winner of the Cannes in 2020. Years and years of experimental technology research done by most of you. So how does that Web 2.0 access kind of teach you and format you how you want to bridge the gap into this Web 3.0 that, very many of these people watching here today are getting into?
Well, I think the main two elements that push this kind of technology, if we compare the metaverse and virtual reality, especially to smartphones and the adoption of smartphones, generally became utility, but the desire drove through entertainment. So music and games became desire, but the logical reason of spending the money was the utility of the smartphone. But if we compared the mass adoption of this technology to people buying an iPhone and getting Angry Birds. If we compare that to people buying HMD and buy their first game, if we compare that to where we are in the industry, we're still in the razor flip phone era. Some people have Blackberries, most people have little razor flip phones, maybe they're buying Tetris and Pac-Man on their razor flip phone. And comparatively to where we're going, because the processing power of the difference between a razor flip phone and iPhone running Angry Birds is the difference of where the leading technology. It's arguable to say that Oculus Quest 2 is probably the first consumer-ready product in VR. There's a lot of others that you could argue are consumer-ready, but nothing really resonated with people. We're on Intaps and Costco and Target and all these other things that felt like a consumer product and had a marketing engine behind the product launch like Oculus Quest 2. And so if we fast forward where we're going with it, that's extremely exciting, a wearable high-end device that allows you to untether, so to speak, while still remaining tethered fidelity. That allows both, the entertainment aspect to really reach new heights, but also the utility aspect of the computational power that it requires to say, I don't need my MacBook with me. Right? I have it with me virtually. I have this floating screen. And so I think the more and more we have cloud computing technology and Web3 interoperable content and that 3D-ifying of the web, all these React and JavaScript programmers learning 3JS and A-Frame, I think the more and more we get to doing that, the more we're going to start seeing breakout successes that create a standard for the utility of everybody else that's doing this. All these UX designers and immersive experiences will start following that standard.
The standards are important. You guys are up here almost defining those standards just by pushing the envelope. Anyone else want to piggyback on that conversion maybe between your Web 2.0 past life and maybe you're at Web 2.0, 2.5, but how it is emerging into this Web 3.0 experience?
Yeah, I'll jump in with some numbers that I recently heard. Nike, they published some information on their annual earnings. I think it was a week ago or so. But anyways, approximately 26 of their sales are what they call digital Nike. 26%. So when I think of Nike, I go to a store, you buy it, but 26% now of all their entire sales are now digital. And what I mean by that is they're purchasing online, like through e-commerce and so forth. But But the other amazing fact about that is Nike is not available, at least through the Nike store, on Amazon. So if you think about it, 26% they're selling it not through Amazon, which is another amazing fact. The other thing that they released was that they had over 7,000, I think they call them fans, in their so-called metaverse. And I was thinking, like, I'm not aware of the Nike metaverse, where is this thing? But it was in Roblox. And 7 million people, and granted, the majority of them are under the age of, say, 18 or so, but it still shows you the amount of traffic. And so at the end of the day, it comes down to like advertising dollars. You're always going to go follow where the eyeballs are. And if your audience is not on television, if your audience is not on Facebook, it's not on TikTok, where are they? And they're in these, gaming metaverses, whether it's Fortnite or whether it's Roblox or, Sandbox or Decentraland. If that's where the eyeballs are, that's where, the ad dollars can go. When the ad dollars flows, then you're going to get these more elaborate photorealistic worlds instead of, like, I call them cartoon worlds right now, like Roblox and Sandbox and Decentraland. It's very pixelated, very cartoony. Like another good example is I was speaking with a large enterprise company, and he's like, why am I going to go in the metaverse when I'm missing half my body and I look like a cartoon character? He's like, I want to speak to them about business stuff, and the person I'm talking to looks like Mickey Mouse. He's like, that's not going to fly. So, we're going in this transition from Web 2 to Web 3, which is your point, that, things are evolving slowly, but pretty soon you're going to blink, and all of a sudden everything's going to be Web 3. But it's going to be, I think, a different definition than this decentralized part because of the walled gardens.
And we're seeing that with this game that you're doing, where you're taking something that might change to the elements of time due to weather, due to demographics in the area and the region. You're able to pull that, and that's just Web 3.0, exactly what you want, where you take your phone out, you can LiDAR scan something, have the digital background makeup for it, and then bring it into your own setting.
Yeah, that's right. We like to think that what we do is sort of digital preservation of cultural heritage in a way. But it's also, for the people that can afford to go to these places, I think it's really important. Not everyone can get on a plane and go to Egypt or Washington, Egypt. And going back to your previous question, I do think looking at Web 2 and business models around this stuff, we have to look at the freemium model. You have to give entertainment experiences and utility away for free, come up with new ways to monetize it, probably through brand sponsorship and in-app purchases and things like this. But that's something we can look at from the App Store that works. Nobody's going to download your app if it costs money.
And then over to the end here. And I know you have you're going to be talking about some more experimental technology later on today at one of your panels. So maybe you can touch base a little bit about how, the Web 3.0 experience is kind of evolving the technology that you're, basing yourself on.
So it's fascinating. Having come from raising funds for nearly a decade in the traditional PC world for hardware, which is brutal, I'm not going to lie. Being able to foster a community of individuals who are passionate enough to understand what we're trying to build, I see as a radical way of fundraising to develop a project. In fact, we tried this precisely with format by selling NFT collection to provide funding into the metaverse, and then rewarding our supporters with wonderful stuff. So I think really, to me, this is really what attracted me most to the Web3 space, is traditionally Web 2, I've spent half my year trying to raise capital, and then the other half the year building. This past year and a half now, perhaps been a